Hey everyone, this is a special edition of the Innovator's Mindset podcast. I can't believe I'm doing this, but I saw the movie Wicked a couple times, and I'm not going to spoil any of the movie for you, but I actually saw it once because I knew my daughter Kallea would want to see it, and she kind of gets scared of some stuff, so I wanted to kind of go pre-see it and see the movie, make sure that if there was something really scary, I could, give her a heads up, cover her eyes, do whatever. But then we went to see it. My daughter absolutely loved it. And it's something we've been talking about quite a bit since the movie. So I want to talk about it because I think there's some good lessons from me watching it, kind of going through the process. But I want to share some of the takeaways. I will tell you that, like I said, I'm not going to give you any spoilers. Cynthia Oviro, I hope I'm saying the name correctly, absolutely amazing. When she sings in Defying Gravity and she says, it's me, it is like, I was running to that today and I have never run so fast in my life. It is such an exhilarating moment. There's two scenes in movies that I've seen before with musicals that like really took my breath away when the scene happened. And it was, when in Frozen, I know. It was in Frozen when she turns everything to ice in the castle and she's singing it. I can't remember the part, but I remember actually watching on a plane, and I'm terrible watching movies on planes. And I was like, oh my God, that was something. And then it was this scene really, that moment captured me. But I'm not going to tell you what happens then, but I highly suggest if you haven't listened to the soundtrack, pick it up. Even if you haven't seen the movie, I think it really kind of preps you for the movie. Before my daughter and I went to the movie, I played the music for her, so she'd be somewhat familiar with it. She didn't really know, but just kind of get her some of the catchiness. Ariana Grande is amazing. If you've ever seen her on Saturday Night Live, she's very talented comedically, which is amazing. She's an incredible singer. She is such a good movie. It is really, really good. So like I said, I don't want to spoil anything, but I thought it was like a timely topic. I wanted to talk a little bit about some of my takeaways from the movie without giving any spoilers away. I would suggest it, but if you don't like musicals, you don't like musicals. I will tell you, my daughter and I tried to watch The Wizard of Oz yesterday. And after watching Wicked, it's pretty hard for her to watch Wizard of Oz. It is like a very different experience. And I want her to kind of be familiar. I guess Wicked 2, the second part, if you don't know that, it says right at the beginning, there's Wicked Part 1. It's coming out in, I think, November 2025. So I'm trying to like prep her for that. And it is a great movie. So I want to share just 3 takeaways of my personal experience from the Wicked movie. And I would give this my highest rating ever, 7 thumbs up. Homer Simpson. You don't know. If you know, you know. Okay. So here's my first takeaway. Give a first impression a second chance. Okay. What do I mean by that? When I'm watching the movie, I went to see it. I know the Wicked story. I've never seen the play. I've never went to it. In any production of it. I know Idina Menzel, Frozen, right? I didn't know, I think it's Kristen Chenoweth. Am I saying that right? Plays Glinda in the Broadway production, the original. And so I knew about it. I know the story, kind of the storyline, something of it. And I didn't really know the music. I kind of knew bits and pieces. So I went to the movie and I was like, it's pretty good. It's all right. Like it's good. It's pretty cool visually, but I wasn't like, eh. But then I started like listening to the music, and that's something with me. Some of the best albums, in my opinion, that I really, really loved. I rarely love them the first time I listened to them. It was actually after a second or third listening, that's when I was like, oh, this is really, really good. That it really kind of catches you off guard, and then you kind of, the songs just kind of are ingrained into your mind. And so I knew I was going to go to the movie at least once, kind of check it out, and to see if my daughter Kallea would actually come with me. She really wanted to see it, but she also knows she gets a little bit scared in a movie theater. And as we're kind of driving to the movie, play some music, I'm actually getting way more excited about the movie. And I'll tell you, the second viewing of it was absolutely amazing. So kind of going back to this point, give a first impression a second chance. the connection I want to make for education is that sometimes, you meet colleagues, or you have a superintendent, or you have a principal, or you're working with a new staff member, or you're meeting a kid, whatever, right? We have these connections all the time. And sometimes we actually get so stuck in the first impression that we don't actually give people a chance to kind of redeem themselves or show a different side of themselves. I think about this personally. And like I said, I got like 3 points. I'm just going to kind of go off my mind of what I'm doing. I think about this on a personal level. I've mentioned this before. I was really not interested. I never wanted to be a teacher. Kind of said like, I need a job. So I guess teaching, right? So I'm not like the kid who dreamed of it when he was 5 years old. I did it because I kind of wanted to coach basketball, and that was kind of the route, was to do that. And I was at a school, and I was there for a while. And then I got a real love for the profession in a way that I hadn't before. And I felt that I actually, that many people who worked with me saw me as the person I was 3 years ago, not the person I was becoming, and that I was limited in that role. And so I hated that. That really bothered me. And I actually ended up leaving, and I didn't think I'd be in education much longer after that. But someone who met me saw something different in me, and then quickly I was in administration, went to different roles. So if I hate that, I don't want to do it to others. And I remember some of my best friends in the profession, some of the people I look up to most, weren't people I got along with right away. So I know that some of you are listening, connect with with what I just said about feeling that you're, trying to change, trying to grow, and people are kind of seeing the old version of you versus the new version. And it's frustrating. So what I would suggest to you is that if it frustrates you, don't do it to others. And I think this is something that, we do with movies, we do with music, we don't necessarily do with people, and we always should. Don't let that, that first impression, it tells you something, but it shouldn't tell you everything. So that was something that I took away and kind of connected to this movie. All right. Second part. Here we go. So this one's I'll explain this in a second. Applaud and cheer on others even when they are not in the room. So I've been to a couple movies in my lifetime. One of them that I remember, and this is like probably my favorite movie I ever saw in person, was Independence Day. I remember seeing it. It just came out. It was so packed. And this was in Canada. And at the end of the movie, people were like cheering and yelling USA in Canada, which was amazing. It was just it was a packed audience, and it really stuck out to me. The first time I saw the movie, it was a Monday matinee, and it was like fullish for a Monday matinee. I'm a matinee guy. I can't stay up late. So I like to go to matinees. Monday matinee was somewhat full. And then I took my daughter, I think it was like a Saturday afternoon, and it was way more full than the first time. But in both instances, whether it was like partially full or, mostly full, people actually applauded at the movie. And I got caught up and I started applauding too. And this is, kind of my first thought was like, the people that made this movie are not here. Like, who are we applauding, right? And then I started thinking about it more. A lot of times that it is really important to advocate for others when they are not in the room, when they're not actually there. It's really easy to do it when they are there, but it is, kind of sometimes sticking up for people, sometimes, sharing their accolades when they're not in the room, because that kind of opens doors for people. But also, as I kind of think about this, you can get caught up into it, and all of a sudden strangers are cheering for other people, and there's an emotion to that too. So think of some of your colleagues, think of some of your students. It's great to advocate when they're in the room, but it is, I think, way more important when they're not, that you actually, really kind of connect with them. And I know it's real. I think a lot of times in life, in education, we kind of crap on people when they're not there, right? And I think that something I got to get better at is really not doing that, but also doing the opposite, is like really kind of advocating for people, even when they're not in the room, to hear it, because I think it kind of, permeates throughout the world. All right. Last one. Okay. So our hurt and hopes in childhood can shape a lot of our future. You just need someone to believe in you. So I don't know much about Ariana Grande because I am old. I know some of her music. I enjoy some of her music. I know I've seen her on Saturday Night Live. I've seen her on, Jimmy Fallon, things like that. She's very gifted, very talented. And like when I say gifted and talented, I want to make sure I don't know her work ethic. I assume it's really, really high level work ethic. I don't think she's just naturally an incredible singer. She probably has some, some abilities to do so, but I'm sure she developed that too. And I don't know much about her upbringing, but I do know, I heard a story that she had shared that when she was 10 years old, she actually went to see the original version of Wicked and met Kristen Chenoweth, who is Glinda. And basically she said to her, and this is a story I heard on TikTok, again, old guy on young people things, about how she, they're having a conversation. Actually, it's Kristen Chenoweth who shared this, that she met Ariana Grande when she's 10 and she's like, I want to be Glinda one day. And Kristen Chenoweth is like, you will be. And here she is in this movie that's making hundreds of millions of dollars. And I wonder what that moment meant. I wonder what that moment, I can tell, like you can see Ariana Grande, like if you see interviews about her, she's so excited about being in this movie and like the privilege of taking a role that she knows is so iconic, is going to resonate. I know it's resonated with my own kids, both Ariana Grande's character and Cynthia Elvero's character. It is something that's going to stick with my daughter. And so how much did it matter to her that, the person playing that part, like said, you will be this one day. And I think about the reason I said our hurt and hopes in childhood could shape a lot of future. There's a lot of things that I struggle with to this day because of things that happened when I was 8, 9, 10 years old. On a very personal level, I'm always like a little uncomfortable with my shape, my build, because I remember being teased mercilessly in a car on the way home from a hockey tournament by other teammates about being fat, and while an adult was there, and to the point where I was like bawling, and I quit hockey soon after because it was just so horrible. And I'm very insecure about some things in my life, and it's affected me in many, many ways. And I think a lot of who we are as adults is shaped when we were kids. And then I also think about the opposite side, some of the people who really believed in me, who really advocated for me, who saw something in me that I had not seen in myself, who pushed me to do things I am doing today. So every time that you are in a room or passing by a student, passing by a kid, that is an opportunity to affect them in the future, positive or negative. And one story that I've always think about, a student was sharing about how she had went through high school and she had really struggled with depression, mental health, even to the point of, having suicidal thoughts. And she said the thing that actually kept her going each day was a teacher who never taught her one day in her life, who would say her name and greet her every single morning, and how much that meant to her. So every interaction we have, with somebody could shape something. And that's one of the things I really believe in, is that a legacy in education is not what you do. It's what your students, it's what the people you serve do because of you. And just what an empowering story to know that happened at such a young age for Ariana Grande. And I don't know much about her upbringing or anything like that, but to have someone see that and then, encourage her and think about that. I always want to be the story, for people I meet that, I actually was unsure about this, and then I met this guy, and then it led me to this, right? Not, well, I did this in spite of that person. That sucks. That would suck. So I just think that is something that really connected with me. So I wanted to share a little bit about my takeaways from my personal experience of the movie without wrecking the movie for you. I would suggest going to it. The music is amazing. The dancing's incredible. The TikTok memes are coming out of it. Me and Bach. I can't get Bach out of my head. It's a really great movie. I highly suggest it. I want to share some takeaways because it really resonates with me, and it's something special to me and my daughter. And I hope to share this podcast with her in the future because that was, I know that's something that she's really interested in is musical theater. So that's why I really wanted her to go. And I know that probably someone's going to say something to her that will affect her. I hope that I'm, affecting her in a positive way to pursue those dreams. At 8 years old, that people in that movie probably had those same dreams at one point. Somebody helped them. So love the movie. Just want to share some ideas with you. This is like an emergency podcast on the movie Wicked. Check it out. I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care.